Right. All right, Dr. Hillary Fredrickson, we've got a lot to talk
Hi.
about today.
Today's all about endocrine disruptors, right? And what are you putting on your body that might be jacking up your hormones?
And it's a lot. So I will tell you that because I was diagnosed with endometriosis at age 20, this has been a big topic for me. And I remember when I was in college, which was a really long time ago, the first research came out. I remember this New York Times article, we're in the coffee shop in Vermont looking at this article linking these endocrine disruptors and chemicals in our environment to breast cancer. And it was like a big deal back then. Now it's more that we understand that there are chemicals all through our household products, our cosmetics, like hand lotion, like you're doing, from everything we encounter, right, that are causing problems for our hormone systems. But for me, the endometriosis was at the root cause of my fertility issues, and it's been a really big deal. And I try and avoid these chemicals as much as possible. You do find it somewhat difficult, but it's such a big topic, right? Because we have more and more research all the time and how it's affecting men's sperm. It's, they're talking about it for gynecomastia, which is like men getting breast tissue, prostate cancer, all kinds of men conditions. Yeah, all the cancer. There's
all
a
the cancers
here. Yeah, and our hormones are really, really important because what they do is they interact and affect every cell. So that's a big deal, right? That was what makes a hormone versus like a vitamin or something, right?
Okay, so that's a really complex thing to understand if you're not a scientist or whatever, but that hormones impact every cell. So when you're exposed to products, which we just all are,
they're ubiquitous, right?
Just by living in our country where we have not been protected from chemicals in the way that European citizens have on our face products or our bath soaps or our shampoos or cleaning products. Like there is, and I didn't prep the data, but there is this wild, like the amount of chemicals that are illegal in Europe versus the amount of chemicals that are illegal in the United States is like vastly different. So it's really up to the consumer. And it's a tricky one. And if you have kids, well, one, if you're trying to have kids, this is extraordinarily important. But if you already have kids and you can just see the way the marketing goes, like our children were both raised understanding some of these things, like we're their mothers, and yet it's a constant uphill battle for perfumes and products and what they're being marketed and what they think is adorable and fun and cute. And when they go to Sephora or what they're trying to buy or what they're being gifted or what they're seeing at Target, it is junko, low quality. Yeah, yesterday at a lacrosse tournament, my daughter literally took the sunscreen spray, which she's learned long ago, knows a lot about sunscreen sprays. Close her eyes, close her mouth, and went like this, so super close up. And she turns to me and she goes, "Don't worry, I'll do other good things for my egg quality today." I know that was a mess. And I'm like, the mothers around were laughing. They're like, "Did she just say egg quality?" I'm like, don't have a long conversation in your house.
Right. Because there's a few important points that we have as sort of like our main points here. And one of the things is just to understand that the endocrine disrupting chemicals, every government that I've looked at has a statement on this for women's health in particular, because we're the ones who carry the babies and bring them forth, right? So the endocrine disruptors have a particular impact on women. And now I think it's coming more and more out about the male health, but it's really interesting to read, for everywhere from, Denmark, Israel, our endocrine society has statements on this. OBGYN groups have statements on this. Like, this is a health thing where lots of organizations have looked at the data and said, wow, this is a real thing, and made actual, like, this is a problem, let's try and get these things out. But it's not necessarily trickling down into our consumer goods. So some of these chemicals block our ability for our hormones to work properly. these endocrine disrupting, they're disrupting our ability to do our hormone jobs, and some ramp up the ability. So with me with endometriosis, I was always worried about things that mimic estrogen in the body and make more estrogen like stuff happen. And I think that's the link with the breast cancer we get here. But
And
another
fibroids and fibrosis,
fibroids and
fibrosis
yeah,
for women that
PMS, breast kind of symptoms, and you and I learned that you and I have really different pathways for our estrogen detoxes, and mine just goes all to estrogen, more estrogen, more estrogen, more estrogen. It's that sort of toxic estrogen detox pathway. We learned that from genetic testing. And so I think individuals have more of a risk, and as a society, we're just constantly encountering these things.
And, a lot of it is like, where did you grow up? What was the water like? So these things are now ubiquitous in our environment, like we discussed. So we're always being exposed to a low level of endocrine disrupting chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to really look at like, okay, then what we put on every day needs to be clean. And there's a few key target organs that I want you guys to look at what you're doing. The first is the lips. Kara will always say, you'll hear her say, we eat our lipstick, right? We put lipstick on. And the bummer is when you go to Chanel or you go to the really pretty expensive lipsticks that are really nice, they are not protecting against endocrine disruptors. Okay.
Because the pigments, right? There's a pigment thing. So we can't get all colors naturally, right, Hillary? So I think that's part of it. But
it's also the actual ingredients that they're using to make it silky, to make it stay on long. So if you're using like a lipstick that stays on for 2 hours, you just wonder what you're doing. And like, you're just literally eating it. You're talking, it's going.
That's the first place I go is I'm like, well, what is this lipstick thing? Because you're consuming it, right? You absorb stuff from your skin, you inhale stuff from your perfume and stuff like that. But like lipstick, you're putting it like in your mouth. Everybody has it on their teeth and stuff. It's like, that's like so direct.
And it's highly vascularized, this tissue. So it's just, we have a lot of blood, there's a good amount of blood flow. Okay. This one, I was so stoked. I looked it up today. So there's several places to look at. If your products are clean, there are apps, there are a lot there. I know there's apps where you can scan it. My hairdresser was so excited. It's really cute because he's a dude named Billy that's like in his 50s. And he was getting so fired up. Like, there's this app where I'm checking all my things. I'm trying to find it. Anyway.
The hairdresser chemicals are really hard on them.
Yuka, Yuka. That's an app where you can like take photos or scan your products and you get a ranking. So there's a lot of information available. Old school, we use something called Skin Deep by Environmental Working Group. The Environmental Working Group data doesn't love essential oils. So something might score poorly. And then you just need to go down ingredient by ingredient. So like, this is my beloved. I have extremely dry skin because I have an endocrine issue, which is hypothyroidism. And because of my hypothyroid, my skin is just a little bit drier. And I've always needed a good lotion. This is my favorite. When you put the Josie Marin whipped argan oil in, it doesn't score as high. But if you go down and you look at the ingredients, what they're tagging are Camilla sinensis, which is green tea, the rose oil. So they don't love plant oils. And that's okay because we're naturopaths, so we can overlook that. But the actual chemicals that are in here score very low. So you want to just look with a little bit of discernment.
Right. And so if you were trying to get pregnant, some oils, like say Hillary's lotion has a lot of lavender essential oil in it, that is potentially causing somebody a problem. So you have to sort of see which stage of life were you in. So you're probably really good with that. But women who are pregnant, we just want to make sure have an even higher standard. I find Credo Beauty to be pretty awesome, actually, because they seem to bring together a bunch of the clean beauty products. Even Sephora has a good clean beauty section. And
what a change, right? Like that Sephora has a clean beauty. It means that Consumer is really, they know, we just have to make sure that sometimes we have old, and even Kara and I mean, I was running around this morning going, wait, is everything I'm using clean? And like, I'm in this work, right?
But
like,
you're not as sensitive, like the synthetic fragrances just kill me because I have these detox pathways that are somewhat compromised. It's just a genetic thing. It's like I can't go to the regular grocery store and walk down the aisle of the cleaning products. It makes me so sick. I feel like vomiting. It's like horrible. And I know that sounds really dramatic or whatever, but it's
that way.
Some people I can't handle these things. So the synthetic fragrances have really specific issues with our female sex hormones. So those things are right away a good thing to get out. And I had such a hard time finding a deodorant all my life. So
deodorant are really tricky ones.
Deodorant is rough because I taught yoga classes and stuff. Like you can't be sweating and walking around adjusting people, but this one's called Primally Pure is the one that I've been using the last few years. I learned about this.
We learned from our detox program, right?
Mm-hmm. I think it was the Prepare for Pregnancy detox program. I learned that, right? And I've tried a bunch of the different scents. For me, I like the geranium one, that's the one I like, but I bought it for a bunch of people at my work and such, and people all like the different scents, and the charcoal one some people like, etc. But that tends to work really, really well. And what it has as its base, which would normally make me not want to get it, is tallow. So it's tallow from grass-fed cows. I would not have thought that was a good idea, but it's a really good deodorant. I mean, it's awesome. And so my daughter uses this as the one we use. And I'm telling you that I have tried, I don't know. I probably have tried 50 deodorants in my life.
I had to go through and throw them when you try it, right?
I've tried it all. I would go to different natural medicine stores and buy a bunch of them and see which one worked. Remember, I've tried different scents, all of that. So I like that one. I think another thing that I had a struggle with too was if I needed to put on makeup, it was, what mascara was I going to use? And that one I've gone through a bunch of them because mascara is just tough. So that beauty company that is online, they have stores in bigger cities called Credo. You can ask them, hey, I use this makeup, this particular makeup. Is there a replacement that I could try? And I think that's really useful because the trial and error we've had to do is crazy. So the one that I've landed on is called Merit for mascara. That's the one I like. You're going to like a different one probably. But what I'm saying is it's often not the first, second, or third one you try that sort of works for you. That's the thing that's hard to get in people's
But it's so much better than it was when we were looking into this stuff.
Oh, so much better.
Okay, a big one, you guys, is candles. Candles are a huge source of toxicity in your home if you're grabbing it just from the regular store and you're not protecting yourself. This one's North Bay Candle Works, handmade in Marin County. This smells incredible. It's called Mount Tamalpais, which is the thing here. That you want your soy and coconut wax candles to be, you just want them to burn really clean. You don't want a lot of different chemicals in your candles. It should just be like 2 ingredients and you know what they are. I know what soy is and I know what coconut is. So this is a great candle. Can I also just speak into for a minute tampons? Okay, so many people, the majority of, if you're at a regular place or Target or this or wherever you're getting your stuff, the Tampax and the regular brand tampons have dyes and chemicals in them. Many of them have plastic applicators. It's interesting with my daughters, they struggle with using the kind of tampons that I use because they're just like, I really need the plastic applicator. So I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. Your tampon should be purely cotton. It should not have chemicals in it. It's in your vagina, which is highly vascularized and a place where you're trying to get pregnant. So please, 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 we don't want chlorine. We want organic cotton.
And I think because of the bleaching process, a lot of them, when I was first looking into it with the endometriosis diagnosis, dioxin was in a lot of those. So it's, chemicals that are in things that we grow. We don't want to have constantly around where we're absorbing them. But parabens in the candles are a really big source of toxicity for people. I mean, that's a big one, and I think we don't think about it, right? Because it sounds like, oh, they put nice essential oils in these candles, but it's the base of the candle that can be really tough for people. So that's our talk on slow poisons we expose ourselves to daily, and that you can do something about it. So we always preface this when we're teaching, groups, Hillary, I think we do a good job of making sure that people are not stressing about it, because there's always this thing where you start to look around and then it's sort of like, oh, I can't have any of this, etc. And I think that that's not the way to go as being a person who went there. It's you're always going to get a certain amount, but we always talk about this kind of like overflow effect. So it's like, you eat really well, you have your great pillars of health, your foundations of health are really good, your body can detox as well as possible, you give yourself a ton of antioxidants, and there are things you cannot avoid, right? So you buy a new car, that new car is going to have all this gassing and these chemicals. I'm dealing with the car like that now. And we have strategies in place, but really the best thing we can do is take care of ourselves every day and make really good choices. So we always do talk about, say you have something that doesn't fit all these criteria, but you love it, love it, love it, and it's maybe not a lipstick. Maybe every once in a while you need that in your life, whatever it is. I'm not sure if it's a nail polish color you love, whatever it is. Maybe you do it and you have this quota of like, okay, I'm going to do 85%, 90% really good products. And then here and there, I'm going to have something that I make an exception on. But those exceptions are not your daily things, like the dryer sheets you put in and then your clothing is covered in this and you're soaking in it, right?
Or putting an air freshener in your car. Right. That's just absolutely should be avoided.
That's where we should show the picture of, remember how whenever we go in the Ubers, for some reason we get cursed with those hanging things every time.
And you're like, dude, please, like, just don't smell this all day for yourself.
I know, but politely, can I put down the window, please? That works, right? So we try. But yeah, those things will make me sick. So anyway, it's about like making the best choices when you buy new products, et cetera, and not like causing yourself stress, because we know stress has a huge impact on hormones. And so it's about what can I do tomorrow to be better about this, and not, every little thing. As you can see, we're looking up certain products for us too. So hope that helps everyone. And I think it does help your body if you get rid of these things. I do. I think I see it every day.
We hope you got something out of this. We would love, love, love. We talk a lot more about it. We're doing a detox for fertility and anti-inflammatory protocol for our patients right now. It's January. Now is the time to kind of get your stuff cleaned up and get it going right. So that's what this is all about, so that we can learn from each other. We learn from our patients learn from us. It's a community of learning. We're always trying to elevate and get the healthiest we can. So sending you lots of love from Doctors in Demand today. Peace out.